Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Suspenders and Button Podcast. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Julie, and we're excited to welcome back Cindy Busby and Chris Russell. Welcome back.
Yay.
Welcome.
Yay. Thanks for having us.
Well, we've never had you together.
I know.
I know. This is so crazy.
This is great fun, and I'm excited you have another project together, When Hope Calls.
When Hope Calls season
You will answer.
What'd you say?
You will answer.
When
Is
hope
that
calls,
is that
you
our
will
like
answer.
slogan? When Hope calls, you will answer.
Yes.
Just us, just the two of us will answer. No one else will answer.
Yes, When Hope Calls. We're very excited. Season 2, but our first season. And yeah, it's like pretty action-packed 6 episodes of awesomeness.
Okay. So 6 episodes, and this will be on Great American Family.
Yes.
And that premieres on April 6th, but it will go on PureFlix April 3rd.
Yes, that's right. So April 3rd, PureFlix, Great American PureFlix, and then April 6th on Great American Family, and Super Channel Heart and Home in Canada as well, which is important because, you know, Chris and I both have a lot of amazing people in Canada that love our project. So we're excited that it'll be premiering at the same time, which is awesome.
So it's really fun that we get to go right into Brookfield for When Hope Calls. It kind of keeps that world alive for all the viewers. Yeah.
Yeah, no, totally. That's certainly an exciting thing because we know that, you know, the hopefuls have been waiting for this for a long time. They're pumped up, they're ready to go. And yeah, I'm excited for everyone to see. Chris Russell, are you frozen in time, or how do you feel about it?
No, I'm just listening. I'm trying to be a good listener.
You are. You're doing so great.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about When Hope Calls? For those of us, it's been a little while since season 1. So tell us a little bit about When Hope Calls.
I'll give Cindy a break on this one. So as she mentioned, this is the 2nd season, but the first time her and I are in it. So you'll get to meet our characters and learn a little bit about them. It does take place. So season 1 came out 5 years ago. This takes place 5 years later. So a lot's changed in that time. So you'll see some familiar faces come back, and then you'll get to meet Cindy and I and discover how and why we end up in the town of Brookfield. And like she said, it definitely is a little more action packed than one could expect from a show such as this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
And if you enjoyed the first season, then you're really going to enjoy the 2nd season. And of course, there was the movies in between. But if you never watched the first season, you'll still be fine. Like, so it's not.
You get caught up pretty quick.
Yeah, totally.
So
okay.
a viewer who's not seen season 1, has no access to season 1, can just jump right into season 2. It'll be fine.
Yeah, there's a nice little recap, and it'll just feel like you were there all along. You're not, you know, it'd be great if you saw that, but you're also fine if you didn't. It's great.
Yeah, it's not like one of those shows where it leaves you with a cliffhanger in season 1 and then season 2 picks up, and if you didn't watch season 1, then you're totally confused. Like this is just a lot of the same characters with new characters, and the story's brand new.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's going to be 5 years after the last time we've watched the show. So what are we talking? Is it 1920 something? What are we thinking?
1920.
1920.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're heading into the 20s. Let's go.
Times are changing.
I know, rural America.
Mountie, America with the Mountie.
Yeah.
It's got to be Canada.
A little bit less A's and boots, but yeah, it's nice. You know, the Brookfield still doesn't have a phone. It's still telegram. Not, you know, still horse and wagon, and I had to learn how to drive one of those, so that was pretty cool for the show. And I had to drive Chris Russell around, which was fabulous. Yeah, so I mean, I get to play Nora Anderson, who is a lawyer. She comes from the big city, San Francisco. She's decided to leave her practice and is looking for some long lost family members that she didn't know that she had. And now that most importantly has since passed, she goes to Brookfield hoping to connect with this family and hoping that there can be some connection, some community, and that they'll welcome her, but she's not really sure if they will. And she just finds so much more in Brookfield than she ever imagined, including none other than Mountie Michael Fearless Fletcher.
We're adding the fearless in there. Okay.
You didn't make it up. It's
kind of an important part.
it's Michael's nickname.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Mountie Michael Fearless Fletcher.
So he's been described as a latchkey kid. So he basically
from the 80s. From
the 1880s. He raised himself. He grew up on the streets.
Yeah.
There are no streets, just gravel.
Some gravel.
Just gravel.
But he's a constable with the mounted police, and his claim to fame is he chases down the real big bad guys, and he tracks them all over the country, and that's his thing.
Okay.
But then he suffers a series of injuries, so he's not able to continue on these arduous journeys tracking down these bandits. So the young and spry Gabriel, who those who have seen season 1 will know very well, he takes over for Fearless Fletcher, tracking down the gun runners, and Fearless Fletcher takes over for Gabriel in Brookfield because there's not much happening in Brookfield. So for someone with a couple injuries, it's a cushy job.
Right.
Or so we think.
There may or may not be quite a bit more than he thought happened.
I mean, it's a small, very small town in Canada. Rural, of course, all the bad guys are going to come there, right?
Of course, yeah, because
or at least one or two, or
Well, we've seen in some promo photos and promos that there are other Mounties that come through town, so we're going to have to assume something happens to.
Yes, there will be other Mounties, and a couple of them you just might recognize from other projects.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not a secret. It's
not. We've seen Trevor, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm like, why am I keeping this a secret? They're advertising it before he'd even shot a scene.
Suspense killing me. Who is it, Chris? Who is it?
Trevor Donovan.
Yeah.
So what you're telling me is that we're going to get both you, Chris Russell, and Trevor Donovan in Royal Canadian Mounted Police uniforms. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, in the same shot, in the same frame.
And the
Nobody will be watching for that.
It's like beyond.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
And I gotta say, as a side note, so in this world, these types of movies and things like that and shows, someone like Trevor Donovan and we would never usually cross paths, like on screen. I mean,
right.
It would just be perhaps at some dinner or in passing. To get to work with someone who is technically, on that list, are we going with Chris Russell today or Trevor Donovan for this Christmas movie?
Right.
And then to be able to work together, and I hope he feels the same about me. I won't speak for him. He probably thinks I'm great, but I think he's honestly, he's like the best guy I've ever met, and he couldn't be more perfect to be my Mountie buddy.
You guys were really, honestly, they had such great chemistry. And like, I was just like the third wheel who was like trying to fit in. I was like, hey guys, remember me? And they were like, just like, ha ha ha, Trevor, ha ha ha, Chris. So and I was one telling Chris, I was like, I can't wait for you to meet Trevor. He is hilarious. He's such a good guy, like great actor, this and that. And he just like, the two of them just hit it off, which is awesome because you're supposed to have like a relationship.
Right.
You know? So it was great.
So buddy cops on screen, besties off screen.
Sure, yeah. It was great.
I'm old
great.
news, I guess.
I was very happy about it.
Okay, so are both your characters there from the very beginning? Like, are you both on the first episode, or are we gonna wait? Okay.
We are both in all the episodes.
We hit the ground running.
Yeah.
And will we get to see more than just like a glimpse of this buddy cop thing? Like, are we gonna get to see you and
Are we
Trevor
talking about
together?
Trevor again?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't tell you that.
But he's there, and there's
Listen,
two.
I mean,
there's
he's in a lot of
police
promos
there.
for it, so I'm assuming he might be in it more
He's
than
definitely in more than one, a couple scenes. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go with that. So do your two characters know each other prior to meeting, or is this
no.
so cold?
We're there for two entirely different reasons. We're both single, ready to mingle, and we.
I don't think we're ready to mingle. Hold on. Do you think we're ready to mingle, or do you think we're just
No,
we're all business, and then the mingling
business.
starts against our will?
No, we're not. We're actually not ready to mingle. We literally keep bumping into each other because for some reason when Nora sees Michael, she kind of gets a bit flustered. But then some business comes around and they need each other. But so at first it's like a really nice meet and greet, and they're kind of, you can see a slight takenness. But then when they really start to chat about, what they do for a living, him being a Mountie, her being a lawyer, that kind of brings in a little bit of friction between the two. And they have a really good banter. And it certainly keeps the audience on their toes of like the whole will they, won't they thing.
Okay.
So a little friction and a little banter, is that what brings the sparks? I mean,
you think, and I think it does.
Yeah. And then I'll add to that, my character, Michael, in all other areas of his life, he's very perceptive. He's on the ball. He gets things done. Nothing gets past him. He is not clumsy at all. His peripheral, insane. He sees everything. He can
360.
he can stop a locomotive. No, but
Superman. He's Superman essentially, right?
Basically, yeah. I mean,
1920.
Yeah, a version. But when he's around Nora or talking about Nora, it's all out the window.
I think it's a Monty trait, actually, that that work is focused, that love life is
Yeah,
a little unfocused.
Yeah, she makes him clumsy and can't find his words.
Okay, so we have lots of fun tropes, it sounds like, kind of between Nora and Michael. And what are we calling him? Are we calling him Mountie Michael, or is the town calling him like Constable Fletcher?
Some say Fearless Fletcher, some say Constable Fletcher, some say Mountie Michael.
I call him mostly Mountie Michael.
Mountie Michael, okay.
Yeah.
So a variety.
A little choices. Because Michael just, that's like an archangel. Like, it feels like.
I mean, he kind of, there's one particular scene where he seemingly almost flies.
Let's go. Let's take to the skies.
Yeah. And, there's the thing that I think a lot of people loved about the first season, and they're going to love about this season as well, is, we have so many fun dynamics between all of the characters within, the town of Brookfield, and, the rumor mill, and the drama and the friendship and the action. And we have the orphans at New Hope Orphanage, and we have, animals, like we have a donkey, horse, a dog. Like it's a really fun dynamic. And all of the kids, we have 6 kids, they're amazing. They're so talented, and they were such a riot to get to play with and to act with and to be, in the scenes. And yeah, it's like it was like honestly and almost like annoyingly amazing that like we all got along so well on camera and behind the scenes, and such a like, wait, how does that happen? It was so great.
So tell us a little bit about, oh, sorry, Chris, go ahead.
I was just going to piggyback on that. When I first got to set, obviously, for those who don't know, Cindy and I, we have worked together on 4 movies. This will be our 5th project.
Yeah.
So we know each other
We don't know each other.
We actually didn't get a scene together for like a month into shooting.
Yeah.
Wow.
So both of our first initiation into the show was with everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like I'll speak for myself, but Cindy seemed to be saying the same thing. It's like we clicked right away. Yeah. Everyone was so great. Like it was like everyone was just so good at the role they were playing, and it just made it so much easier to be the new guy in town and to just kind of slip right into what I needed to be doing, because they were all doing such a great job with their characters. And it's really funny at times. It's really heartfelt at times. Like you can get a bit, emotional.
Yeah.
And then there's the excitement and the drama and the action. Like it's got absolutely everything. And that's in no small part to the cast that were already there waiting for us to join the set.
Totally. So speaking of cast that was already there, who are some of these cast characters that we're going to get to see again?
We have Hanneke Talbot, who plays Maggie.
Yeah, she's amazing.
She's amazing. And we had done a Christmas movie together, actually, a couple years ago with Chad Michael Murray, which was really lovely to get to reconnect with her. We have Jefferson Brown.
Neil Crone, who plays Ronnie, the hotel owner.
He is incredible. Like he is so great in that character.
Fun.
And then Wendy Crusen's back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And her ranch, is her ranch still there?
Yes, right.
Her ranch, where we'll see a lot of, some cowboy action, including the one and only Nick Bateman, who will be a part of the show. So yeah, there's a lot of really great characters.
I was going to say, so for people coming by to watch, they can watch. There's 2 different Mounties and Red Surge and Nick Bateman as a cowboy.
Yeah.
Cowboy. What are you saying, Cindy? What are you saying? There's a lot of
there's a lot of very attractive men in this show. Is what I'm saying.
That's our clip.
But also,
whether you're into Mounties or you're into cowboys, there's something for everyone here.
But also just a beautiful women.
We're shop owners. They have the most handsome shop owner in town.
It's true. It's so true.
Right?
Jefferson, very handsome man.
Doesn't Jefferson run? He runs the
general store.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah,
Jefferson. Yeah, who many people recognize him. So he's currently been in The Way Home.
Yeah, he's like one of Canada's best. He's in everything.
Yeah.
What do they call it? National treasure.
National treasure. That's right.
Yeah, Jefferson Brown, national treasure.
He is national treasure.
I love that.
So period pieces. What do you like about the costuming?
I mean, I personally love it. I think it's so fun to do something completely different than what we typically do, and to really kind of dive deep into a different time period, like even beyond the costumes, whether it's like how one holds themselves in a public setting, manners, etc. Just the way you speak and certain things you would say, certain things you wouldn't say. But yeah, the costumes are so fun, between the various layering of the petticoat and the slip and the skirt and the blouse and the jackets and the this and that. It's great. And it's also really great when it's cold out because you can really hide and like hide the layers of your, the other things you're wearing underneath to keep warm.
Right.
That's fun. And what did you think, Chris, of the surge?
Okay, so when I first went for my fitting, it was not going well. They didn't fit. I guess they don't make them in my size. So I was a bit worried, but they said, "Don't worry, we'll figure it out." And they did. And then when I got to set and put it on, and just got right into everything, got the belt on, got everything. Like Cindy was saying, it kind of almost helps create the character without having to do anything on your own, because I was moving differently because of the costume. So it made me more prim and proper. Yeah. And it just also, when you get to Brookfield, like it's an actual town, like they built it in the middle of a
field.
The field that, according to Cindy's, 2 minutes away from the road.
Interview where he was like, it's like 30 minutes away or whatever. And I was like, what? Where were you going?
But yeah, the whole thing. So when you get the costume on and it's all authentic and everyone else looks authentic, and then you get to this town that they've built that also looks authentic, the work's mostly done for you. You just kind of have to show up.
Right. It really puts you right there.
Yeah, you're really like immersed in the world. And then, like you have backgrounds that are there all dressed up as well with their hair done. And they have their little like activity that they're doing behind the scenes. And it's really fun to see the whole world. And because Chris and I have worked together many times before, it was really cool to like see each other in such a different light and such a different way. Where, when we first worked together, it was kind of like, oh, like, that's really cool. Like, I can see that. And I can feel like such a difference in even in our energy together, of being in this time frame. It really did feel so different for me anyway, working with Chris in this different capacity.
Yeah, for sure. I would agree with that.
Yeah, that's fun. I really can't wait to see this dynamic on screen because you're fan favorites together anyway. Everybody always loves when you're paired up. So to see you in something so different is going to be a treat.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
And what was also fun about the costumes is I remember like some of my costume fittings, like literally not knowing how to put the buttons and things. Like there's so many hidden like buttons and there's so many different flaps and things because things were just made differently. And so I remember just being like, I need someone to come help me. I wouldn't like, it would be all like knotted up. I'm like, how does this work? It's not just like a zipper or just like one button kind of thing. So that was, and then, there's a lot of like really intricate beaded dresses and things. So that's really like fun to see. And it kind of like brought me back to my figure skating days when, it would be so like intricate. I mean, different, but
a little bit more costume perhaps this
time.
Yeah, it took me to the end of the season to be able to dress myself.
Yeah. Did they have somebody come to teach you like the official way it needs to be worn, or because
we went over there
and
oh yeah.
So all that had to be taught. How do you love those Mountie boots?
They're
a lot.
I don't know how they do it. Good kudos to them.
Yeah.
They're the most uncomfortable cold boots I've ever worn in my life, but
they're a lot to lace up.
We couldn't play the role without them. They add a certain gait to my walk.
Yeah.
A certain gait. Okay.
Yeah. Other Mountie actors have said had similar sentiments to wearing the Mountie boots. So.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. It's nice to feel seen, right, Chris?
Nice to feel validated. You're right.
We've heard not good things about them. Cindy, did you have a favorite costume? Like, did you have a favorite dress?
Ooh, I had several actually, because a lot of my costumes were handmade and made specifically for me and my body type. So that was really great. A lot of the skirts, they were really nicely cinched at the waist. And but I'd probably say, the most fancy dress that I wore was in the final episode of the season. There's a special event that that Nora gets dressed up for. And it was a really beautiful dress. That was a tough one to get into. I needed some assistance on that one. And it weighed about like 10 pounds because of the beads. But yeah, it was really pretty. But it was, all of the, they tried to add like some color with Nora's character. So I wore, quite a bit of pinks and some lighter colors and light blues, which was nice because I do enjoy color. So that was good.
Yeah. So Nora's a lawyer. Will she come kind of dressed really
lawyery?
Yeah, a little bit more business-like, or will she kind of like adapt to being on the?
Yeah, I think she's not coming there to work initially, so she's more in everyday wear. However, there may be some circumstances that she has to, pull out that lawyer card and start to help some of the people out in Brookfield, which is nice because it also, starts to allow her to feel a part of the community and want to help. And because she has the capacity to do so, she's happy to do it. She's a really helpful, person who believes in helping people and doing the right thing. And so, and to be a woman during that time, to be a lawyer is like kind of a big deal. So, it was really, really awesome to get to play a character that is of that time, but also when she has to put on that like lawyer outfit, she means business and she's smart and she's really on it, and which is why it, sometimes it ruffles some feathers along the way.
That's fun. So ruffling feathers is always fun.
It is.
I do. I love it.
So you guys have talked both about the community there and being in the community. Are we going to get to see like a community event during the season or something where everyone is coming together? Those are kind of always fun, big scenes when you're watching a series.
Yeah, there's a couple events that occur at the beginning and then also at the end of the season as well. And then of course, there's some fun scenes where it's like you're catching me with Maggie and then it cuts to, Mountie Michael. So it's kind of like that movement of the city being in full action. But yeah, there's a couple group shots that are fun. And then there's some that are supposed to be group shots. But things happen where people can't make it.
Oh no!
So Chris, is Mountie Michael unable to make it sometimes?
Does he have rounds?
Tune in to find out, but I'm concerned about the law.
Are you busy?
Visit my little. Let's just say my little vacation job in Brookfield turns out to be a bit more than one would have expected.
Yeah.
So are we going to say there's a lot of Mountie action there?
There's a good amount.
It was a good amount. Yeah. Also, it's really fun too, Chris. Remember that day where you had to do your action stuff and your fam jam came? That was pretty cool.
Yeah, so I got to bring my family to set for the first episode, and it was my son's birthday actually, and they put him in the background. I won't tell you too much about what the scene's about, but you can't miss him. And yeah, and my daughter was there too, not too far off. And,
Okay, that's super fun. So that's
they're both in the show.
okay.
Yeah, it's
Did
their
they
first
love
time.
that?
Was it?
Yeah, it's their first time ever, and my daughter is bugging me to do it again. So I've told her that if she's serious, she should take some acting classes. So she is right now. So
That's amazing.
yeah, we'll see how that goes.
That's so cool. I love
Well,
that.
that's a fun Easter egg.
I was just gonna say that is the best Easter egg yet. Let's spot the family. Spot the family. That's super fun.
Cindy, do you have sorry, Julie,
go.
The little overlap of time. Do you have an Easter egg for us? Do you have something fun we can look forward to?
Oh, I'm trying to think. Sue's, my dog, would come to set every day with me, and people were like, "Oh, she gets Susan in the show," and I was like, "I don't know if they had Chihuahuas then. Like that would."
On a trip to Mexico, they picked up a Chihuahua.
Yeah, exactly. She went from San Francisco to Tijuana and down, or up. I'm trying to think. I don't know that I did have an Easter egg. Yeah, I don't know that I did.
Yeah. All right.
That's okay.
When you guys are on set, do you talked about the town is built. You get there and it's a full built town. Do you have a spot that is one of your favorite places to film?
I'm gonna say I really love the infirmary. Maggie's infirmary is really, really cool. So the set deck team just did an absolutely incredible job in there with all of the potions and lotions and herbs, and all the little like bottles in there are just so beautiful. And every time I would go in there, I just want to like look through everything. And a lot of times when we weren't using that set, that would be our holding space, like our green room for the cast. So I feel like there's just like a lot of like really fun times had in that space. And yeah, a lot of the buildings are not, they're built as a set, so they're not like really like insulated and things like that. So we would be pretty cold in a lot of these places where we'd have like little heaters coming through and like fully dressed in our like it was fall in Ontario, so
you're cold. Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say the infirmary was my favorite.
Okay, what about you, Chris?
I'm going to be annoying and say I like them all. I don't really have a preference because I like being in the Mountie office.
Yeah.
I like the hotel. I like the infirmary, the general store. I didn't have any scenes in the general store. You
didn't? Oh, crazy.
I just sitting there.
Yeah. Green room in there.
In between takes. But even like the other Mountie office, the big Mountie office that
big Mountie office.
You're expanding Brookfield a little. We'll get to
maybe not. Maybe it's not in Brookfield. Maybe
see
we travel somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really like the hotel. I think the hotel would be my second.
Yeah. Brookfield does have a nice Mountie office, though. It's okay size, and but with two Mounties there, does that get to be a little small?
Well, this is what I'm trying to say. There's not two Mounties in Brookfield.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Mountie Michael has to go on a trip.
That's right.
So Cindy, where does Nora kind of spend the most of her time? What's her base?
So she is based out of New Hope. So New Hope Orphanage. She finds her way there as she comes to town to connect with some people.
Yep.
And yeah, she initially stays at the hotel and then is invited to stay at the orphanage, and so it goes.
So it goes.
Yeah, so that's the main base, and yeah,
everybody needs some kind of a base.
I mean, listen,
where do you belong in town?
Totally.
Yeah.
Also, Elizabeth Saunders is also back on the show.
Okay.
Which is very exciting. She's at the orphanage as well.
Yeah.
So
Okay, yeah,
right.
fun.
And
Yeah. That's fun that so many of the characters are back
Yes.
for when Hope calls.
Yes.
Chris, so my Mountie Michael, mounted police. Do you have a horse?
Of course. His name's Ollie.
Oh, that was going to be my next question.
Yeah. He's very restless too. He's a bit of a diva.
Yeah.
Oh, a diva horse. Okay.
He doesn't, because you have to understand, for a lot of this, you ride it on the horse has to hit its mark, because heaven forbid the camera department tries to find you elsewhere. No, I'm kidding. They're great. John, I love you. John Yap, you're great. He is great.
That's our DP.
But you got to hit the mark. And that's fine. Ollie would hit the mark, but then if we're standing there doing a 3-page scene, he's going to start moving. He's going to start scraping around, trying to dig a hole or something, letting me know, let's go. I want to go for a run. So there's a lot of like, I'm just trying to stand still. And then also, not to give too much of the movie magic away, another big thing to know, and I'm not sure how the actual mounted police handle this. My pants don't move enough for me to get on the horse. So whenever there was a scene where I had to get on the horse in the scene, we would have to pause. Usually Cindy would have to pause, wait for the team of
two men to help me out, bring a little scoop.
Wait for my stunt team to come out with my set of stairs that I would climb up to then get onto the horse.
Please tell me
how to remove it.
Oh, I don't know if I
and
have.
then they'd call action again, and we'd pick up where we left off. But now I'm on the horse.
So the real Mountie pants aren't that fitted. They have the big side things and they're loose. But we do know that for the Mounties in some of these other shows have had their costumes more fitted to them. But that's hilarious that you can't get on a horse.
Yeah, and there's just like no stretch in the pant, right? So it's like if you're trying to lift up your leg, there's like nowhere for it to go.
Yeah, I can't even bend my knees.
Well, you have those boots on too. It was. Let me tell you, it was very enjoyable for me to watch this.
I bet. Your stairs, it's spectacular.
So do you get to do a lot of riding, or is this going to be a lot of you just sitting on Ollie because you can't move?
No. Once you're on him, he's fine.
Okay.
The sitting's the harder part.
Yeah.
He wants to get moving.
Yeah.
I mean, he wants to get going.
Yeah.
The animals, when they're not like riding or when they're on set, a lot of times they're just waiting around as well. They'll move them around. So they get like antsy and kind of like, they're like, I'm over this. Like, let's go do something fun. This is boring.
Yeah, even the wagon horse. What was his name again? Zach. The cart horse. The huge one. He's huge. He's like 1,000 pounds.
He weighs a ton.
He sometimes would be like, I'm not doing this anymore. And he'd just start going in the shot with the wagon. And the wheels would have been blocked off. And they would just like hop over them.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, Zach's out of this scene.
He's done.
Well, he would get tired too, because we'd have to do it a couple times, and then and he's pulling like a whole wagon and the two of us. So yeah, he was really sweet though. What a sweetheart. And I'd like to say, I was told that he really liked me because he grew quite fond of me, which I was like, yes, he was my boy,
It's true. I had to put a lot of faith in Cindy's wagon
driving
skills, because we'd have to do whole scenes where she's in charge of the wagon and there's Zach, and I gotta hope for the best, but still here to talk about it. So thank you, Cindy.
Anytime. I'm happy that we survived to tell the tale.
Well, Mountie Michael was injured.
Oh, nobody was injured. Yeah. Did you get to ride too, or were you just the wagon driver?
Just driving the wagon for this season. yeah, it definitely would be really cool to get to ride, in the future. But yeah, the riding of the horses was primarily with the Mounties and the cowboys.
And the cowboy.
And the Cowboys.
Ranchers.
Right. So, Chris, did you have experience riding horses prior to this?
I have. Believe it or not, my mom used to take me to this place called Wildwood when I was a kid because she loved it.
Yes, I know Wildwood.
And so we'd go all the time until I was 12. And then my horse got spooked and ran off into the woods and I got knocked off. I was okay, but I was like, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
So I actually didn't ride a horse again until it was on set for something. And then, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. So they said, do you have riding experience? I said, of course I do.
Yeah.
And then
Always answer yes.
it was for this commercial where I played this knight and I was on top of this horse with all this like smoke coming out, and they made it look like Game of Thrones. So they had like hundreds of extras with swords like roaring down the hill coming to fight. And I hadn't ridden in it since I was 12. And I'm like, grown man, a little bit nervous. I'm wearing chainmail. I'm on the side of a hill. And this horse decides he does not like the smoke machines, but they're on either side of him. So he kept skidding back and forth like this with me on him. And I'm just like holding on for dear life. But I managed to do the scene and I made it look like it was on purpose. So you're welcome.
Wow.
Well done.
You're really
outstanding.
Very brave. But yeah, my riding experience is sort of limited to my on-camera riding experience.
Well, hopefully you'll just get lots more riding experience with more seasons, right?
Yeah, I did do a movie called Yellowstone Romance where I was on a horse most of the movie, so that helped prepare me for this.
That's
Mm-hmm.
fair enough,
Yeah.
Of one of your 4 movies together.
Oh no, that wasn't with Cindy.
That was just somebody else, right?
Hey.
You guys are looking for waterfalls or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, that's been fun.
All the outdoor movies. Okay, so what is it about When Hope Calls and as actors that excites you? Or playing these characters, I should say.
Yeah. What excited me initially was, first of all, getting to be in a period piece is really something, like I said earlier, just really different, offers like a complete change from what I've been doing for the last few years. And also getting to be a part of a series is something that I personally have wanted for years. And it's nice because there's a specific growth to a character that can happen if you're lucky enough for several seasons. That is just like a different kind of arc, and it's longer, and it's you get to explore the various facets of a character in a more deep way. And also, what's really fun about the show is it's an ensemble. Chris and I are the leads of the show, but it's an ensemble cast where there's so many wonderful characters and so many great rapports and so much happening together separately. And I love that. I love that you feel like you're really immersed in a town where there's so many different types of people and things going on. And it's kind of hard not to fall in love with Brookfield and all the people in it, because it's connection, it's community, it's hopeful, it's loving, there's romance, and it's just really the kind of show that like we all want and need right now, to feel good when we watch it. And even though it's in 1920, there's still so much that we can all relate to within it. And it takes us back to, even though it was like a harder time to live in that time, it's also in a lot of ways so much simpler to live in that time. So yeah, I don't know, Chris, what were your thoughts?
Once again, took the words right out of my mouth. But yeah, I think I mentioned to you the first time we spoke, what kind of project would you want to do that you haven't done? And I said a period piece. And I think we even joked about One Calls the Heart back then.
Probably.
And now here we are. And I've always wanted to do something like this, and this particular show, it kind of ticks all the boxes for me, because it just like when we do our modern movies, they're great, they're fun, the whole bit, but you're not transported anywhere else.
Right.
You're just in someone's house and there's a bunch of decorations everywhere, whatever, right?
And
I'm not belittling it at all. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's a different
it's
thing.
just like
Yeah.
it's just like an everyday thing. It's no different than my real life, except it's a script and it's a movie. But what I mean by that is doing something like this, you're literally transported to another time and another world, and it's the feeling of that, and then seeing everybody else embracing that at the same time and bringing it all together is just something really special about it. And I have, not to sound cheesy, but I have a special place in my heart for this show for sure. It's really, really great.
No,
those are really lovely answers.
Right. Yeah. Those transporting you. I think that's why people watch too, right? That's why we want to be there. We want to be transported to a different place, a different time, a different community, and people love that. So, do you guys have a favorite scene from the season that you can tease without giving, too much away?
Wow.
I feel like we have a few that I like quite a bit.
Yeah. Because Chris, obviously I have so many, as I mentioned earlier, I had the opportunity of working with the kids in the orphanage a lot. And so I loved getting to be in the scenes with them when we're around the table or in the, in the foyer. Like they're just the sweetest little angels, and they're so funny and they're so talented. And I just love getting to work with them. And I would say, honestly, there's a lot of wagon scenes with Chris and I that are they're simple scenes, but it was just what we were saying and how we were saying them. And again, the banter, I just really love those kinds of scenes where you're, and I was driving the wagon and I just feel like it just was like boom, boom, like everything. There's so many beats in those moments. And because I was driving it, I couldn't think of anything else. And I was just so in the moment and getting to do that with him. And and then there's one scene that we have together that's like a little bit action packed that I also really liked. It was a lot of fun to get to shoot that. There's so many, but I would say like some of those really great banter scenes are my personal favorite.
Yeah. Love a good sit and talk, especially if you're in a wagon.
I mean, it's nice.
Perfect. And Chris, did you answer?
No.
Well, I think I said there's so many. There is. I mean, at the risk of giving anything away, Cindy and I have a couple really great fun scenes, whether we're getting along or not, that I really liked. I really enjoyed. I also enjoy the simple ones where we accidentally bump into each other.
Yep. A lot of bumping into each other.
Accidentally.
But then also like working with the other actors too, like even specifically Neil Crone, who plays Ronnie, the hotel owner. Because my first stuff was with him when I first got there quite a bit, and I just loved it. It's really fun.
He's so funny. Oh, he's so funny.
Did you get to do your own stunts, Chris, or did they have somebody come in for that?
I did some of my own stunts. There's some things that I was not equipped to do.
Okay.
You'll see after the first episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Okay, so you have both been on before, so we changed our game up a little bit. Would you play a this or that with us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Love that.
Would you rather film it? I guess
Do we go at the same time? Do we answer at the same time?
Take turns.
Take
You're
turns,
both going to
yeah.
answer the question.
Okay.
I guess we could use we could keep them When Hope Calls themed, or you could say something else if you want. But would you rather film inside or outside?
Outside. If it's not windy.
Yeah, outside if it's not windy, and usually When Hope Calls is very windy. Set like this weird wind vortex of like just like my hair is all over the place so I'm gonna say inside.
I figured out the hairspray ratio, so mine didn't move, so we're fine.
Chris had like a
Helmet hair from the vortex wind. Okay, a small scene or a group scene?
Small scene.
Small scene, yeah, small scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, car or horse?
Horse.
Was that cart or car?
Car.
Car or horse?
Drive a
Do
car.
you guys have any cars there? Because it's 1920.
Well, there is, but it's not
They're
used.
rare.
But there is one, yeah.
Horse.
Horse. Okay.
Horse.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you like early morning shoots or late night shoots?
Oh, early morning.
The couple of morning people here.
Nobody likes a night shoot.
Did you have a lot of
I don't
night
know who those people are.
Okay, long scene or short scene?
I'm gonna say long scene.
Depends on the scene.
Depends on the scene.
I mean, it's always dependent, but
Yeah.
Right.
Do you have a favorite kind of scene to film, Chris? Like, did you prefer like the action scenes over like a sit and talk, or?
It really depends. Like, what's the action? What's the sit and talk? Sometimes either or, but it'd be hard to say. Like, if the writing is really good, which it is on the show, then it just feels so good when you're working with other people that are also just really invested in it, and it's just so a sit and talk can be great.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was saying, like Cindy was saying about the wagon, and I was saying about with Neil. Like, those were all sit and talks, and those are some of the best scenes in it, I think.
yeah.
I love that. And then to go off of our this or that, then we'll skip on to music. Do you have a favorite musician, music you're currently listening to, band, or and a song?
Ooh. I have so many. I just went and saw. I'll say this. I just went and saw a concert on Friday.
Oh.
The opening act, the main act, I knew. They're called Saint Motel, and they're awesome. But I didn't know the opening act, and they're amazing. And so they're like my new kind of like group that I've discovered, and I really enjoy. They're called Great, Good, Fine, Okay, which I think is a great name. But the guy's voice was unbelievable. They were really fun, and they kind of like, anyway, they were really lovely. I'm a sucker for like I love like Motown music, and like I love oldies, so that's always been my go-to. So like Sam Cooke, or like more modern type Motown people would be like Fitz and the Tantrums or Duran Jones and the Indication, like stuff like that. So those are my choices.
How about you, Chris?
I'm kind of liking the Black Pumas and Cannons right now.
Okay.
But
never heard.
I don't know if anyone knows the Thievery Corporation, but they're more instrumental. But I also really like listening to that.
Yeah, instrumental as well.
If When Hope Calls had like a soundtrack, what would come to mind? Like, what would you be wanting to listen to?
Oh wow. I mean, I think it would depend on the scene, but there would be like maybe some like Postal Service. Maybe some
sealed delivered.
Maybe some Motown. Definitely like maybe some I don't know, like some 1920s like jazz kind of thing.
Oh yeah, that works.
Yeah.
That would be cool. I don't know, maybe Bahamas. Like I don't know. Like like I always, what I personally like is when music that's not from the time is into the time. There's something like contrasting about that. That's cool.
Well, since you said Monty Michael comes flying in like a superhero, do we need some like Superman music? Or...
Yeah, what's the Canadian band, the Canadian rock band?
There's a lot of them, like Rush or
Nickelback.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, slow mo.
Yeah, just
my eyes squinting into the distance.
Yep.
Never made it as a blind man.
as a poor man,
This is how you remind me.
Chris is going to be the soundtrack for our alternative music for When Hope Calls. That is happening.
That is funny.
That's a good question, though. I love that.
Yeah, well, we talk to a lot of different people that are involved in creating shows and movies, and sometimes they'll say like, "Oh, I have a soundtrack, like something I listened to while I was writing it or while I was directing and prepping," and so it's kind of got me thinking that I wonder, if it kind of something sat with you while you were there. Yeah,
totally. Yeah, because music, can really set the mood, get you into the mindset. I definitely would always listen to the radio in my trailer with Suze and have little dance parties in between scenes.
I love that Susie was there with you in the trailer.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Actually, Chris's kids loved Suze. They were like, I mean, everybody loves Suze, but
Come on, she's so cute.
Yeah. Okay, so what do you hope the audience kind of takes away from this series, season 2 of When Hope Calls?
Chris, go first. I always answer this first.
Well, I just hope that they feel the warmth and the connection and the community and the sense of belonging that this show offers. I think, especially with everything that is going on in the world at times, and especially all of the other, as they call it now, content out there that you can watch and stream. This is a very wholesome, heartwarming, and feel good type of show.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I kind of touched on it a little earlier, but it's just really good. Same reason why people love a lot of the types of movies that Chris and I have been a part of before. It's just like feel good movies that you can sit down with your whole family, and this show is no different. There is some drama, some action, but it's all done in, a very like family friendly way, I suppose. And I think the biggest thing for me that really touches my heart with the show is, and you said it, Chris, is community. I think that in life right now, community is so important. Connection is so important. And I feel like we've kind of gotten away from a lot of that, of like what really matters, which is, connection to people around us, asking for help, being there for one another, helping your neighbor, like things and people being different, and yet we're all in this together sort of thing. And I really think that Brookfield and When Hope Calls offers that really beautiful reminder of being there for one another is simple, but not always easy.
Right.
And, most great things aren't always easy, but they're always worth it. And I think that that's what I love the most about our show, beyond the fact that I absolutely adore every single person that's in it, in front of the camera and behind the camera. And I always have to put that emphasis, because truly, like, everyone who's a part of this show is like so talented and amazing. And they made sure that it was such a great experience for us. So when you're watching it, you're not just watching it to watch us, but you're also, you know, loving and supporting all of the incredible work that everyone put into it.
Right. You're watching the art, their
Yes.
art. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, like some of the shots, like when we were on set, so I hadn't obviously seen anything yet, but then I'd see like playback on the monitor, some of the shots they had been setting up, and I was like, this is amazing.
Yes.
It's so, like Cindy was saying, so talented and so much thought and effort put into every aspect of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta love that. Well, why don't you tell us what it is that you're going to be in, where it's airing, and when it's airing?
You can catch myself, Cindy Busby, and
myself, Christopher Russell.
I play Nora Anderson in When Hope Calls.
And I play Michael Fletcher in When Hope Calls.
And you can catch it on Great American Pure Flix on April 3rd and
Great American Family on April 6th, as well as
Super Channel, Heart and Home in Canada. Yay!
Yay!
Yay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, we're so excited for you, and we can't wait to see When Hope Calls and to meet you in Brookfield and really soon.
Yeah. Thank you so much. We're so excited, and we have no doubt that everyone is absolutely going to love it. It's going to be really fun.
Absolutely. Well, thank you both for being here with us. And thank you, everybody, for watching or listening. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.